You see these? These are prison shoes. The only way you can get these shoes is if you are in prison and you leave wearing them. Let me just turn this down a bit. So I figured, oh, by the way, I had one of those calls that you make using the computer, but and I haven't gotten undressed yet, but when I have one of these calls, I look like this. One earplug. Where's the other one? Oh, here it is. There. Now, plug in, right? Solid connection. Now, cover up the hair a bit. Can you tell? You can't tell I'm wearing earphones. And you know, sometimes you see people on YouTube and, hang on a second. They look like this. They're on a conference and they're wearing big headphones. And you gotta wonder, why are you wearing big headphones? Haven't you figured it out? There are so many different ways. Okay. Enough of that. So, time to go for a walkabout, I would think. And let's see. Well, isn't that interesting? Here's, I've shown this before, this is the diversity unit. This is 2 FM and 1 AM. So it's basically a system for diversity situations for FM. This one here, on the other hand, is a diversity system for AM, but it also includes FM. So you could use it as an FM tuner, but you'd have to tune the vernier. This is the AM, the main tuning section. This is tuned so that it heterogenes with this. So what that does is that makes this tuned frequency very stable, very easy to work with. So it's a good rebroadcast receiver. Down here, well, there's a project in the making. That's going to be a new front end, what you might call a super regenerative front end for FM. And there's a tape recorder that's going to be wired with a stereo head. The rest of the circuitry, of course, will be restored and left intact, but I'm basically just going to be using the tape head on this machine, which will be a stereo tape head, just a standard one, the kind that you'd find in a Revox machine. And I'm doing a mano here. This is interesting. The Scott, the big tuner's turned off right now. I've got the 382C down there, and I love the blackout dial feature. It's so cool. And I got to tell you something. The 382C is steep competition for the 310DR. It's that good a tuner. Now here is a Zenith tuner. Let me show you what it says on the back. The Armstrong system. So Zenith was paying Armstrong royalties to use the FM patents. RCA wasn't. And we resume. So when this beautiful Zenith is finished, it's going to be one of the best tuners on the planet, and this thing was made a long time ago. Okay, it's your kitchen. This, believe it or not, is where I do everything. And this here is called the Faint Hope pot. So when I got cannabis delivered, every now and then I find a seed and I'll throw it in here just on the Faint Hope. You never know, but they irradiate it, so there's no chance of ever getting something to grow. You may notice only one element, because all I do is boil water. Boil water for tea, for coffee, and that's about it. Notice 4 water jugs there, and the underneath there is full of water jugs, full of water, lots of water. Just a reminder. Fridge, well, cold water, coffee, banana for tomorrow, and some eggs, and some water, some peanut butter, and the various bread. And the water that I keep for the person that wants bottled water, yeah, you can drink this. And the freezer, just bananas and bread, and so on and so forth. As we go, I need this, by the way. I just sit here at my desk, and this is the CD player that's playing music right now. There's a CD player over there too, but this is the one that's playing music right now. Going into this little machine here, which also is tuned to 94.1 CBC. And this is actually an interesting design. I was quite curious to discover that its inputs are on the record bus. So that means you can plug whatever you want into that, and you can plug as many things as you want into that. So everything's going to run through this machine on its way to the system. Now let's explain the system to you, because the system is complicated. There you see the Mission 727s. They're sitting on a pair of Mission speakers that are powered by the Mission amplifier. So the speakers underneath the 727 are powered by the Mission. The Mission 727s are powered by the 2 silver amplifiers there and there. That's the Mission amplifier. And the Mission amplifier is powering 3 sets of speakers in parallel. Roughly about 6 ohms, so you're looking at maybe 1.4 ohms with just that, but there's more. So in addition to that, there are these series connections, or rather the different signal connections. So this is main signal here, right? It's producing the sound that the main speakers are producing. Well, I don't think we have anything playing right now, but soon we will. But you'll hear it's much quieter. All right, what have we got here? Well, this is a project. This is Scott, a 222. It's actually got a very nice front panel, but I'm not particularly interested in units like this to restore. What I do is I kind of view them from here down. There's nothing here that I'm interested in, although I'm going to take these power transformers and output transformers, test them, and put them in stockpile, build power amps with them. But no, what I'm interested in is the preamp and the tone stage, and that will all get rebuilt, and it won't be the original Scott design, but it's not all that different. the tone stage will be different, and because of the way I'm going to be designing the circuit, it's not going to have a bass and treble control circuit anymore. It's just going to have a simple tone circuit because I need 2 additional controls that this provides. This one's right here. Bass and treble. These have got to go because these will be needed. These will be the tone control, and these will be the output levels for the 2 amplifier stages. It's going to get 2 monoblock amplifiers. So this thing, where it now has all this, will have 4 transformers. It'll have 2 power transformers and 2 output transformers. But it's not going to be a tube circuit, it's a solid state circuit. But because it has output transformers, it's going to use the connections on the back of this for the different output impedances. The only concern I have is that it doesn't have anything for 70 volt, but I'll figure out something on that score. And it'll have a preamplifier output as well when it's done. But with the amplifier that I intend to put in it, it will be a vastly different machine, and it will have the equivalent of my Type 121 preamplifier in it, with the exception, of course, that I never bothered to include a tone stage. But this Baxandal stage, it's history. That's simply going to be a line stage driving the power amplifier, and it will in no way correspond to these circuits. But these ones here are very similar to my phono stage. There are only a couple of adjustments, so I could leave it intact, except there's no chance I would do that. You know, all of this junk is going, and all of the parts underneath, they're all going to be stripped out and replaced with new parts. Everything is going to get replaced. Even the ceramic capacitors, although there's nothing wrong with them, I'm going to use much better capacitors. Anything audio related, this thing is going to be a super performer. It's only going to be 20 watts per channel, same as before, but it's going to have such a superior power amplifier that it's going to, you know, if you put one next to the other, it wouldn't be much of a contest. This thing will blow the original Scott 222 away. This studio should be downstairs by now, but it stays here, and I think it's going to stay here persistently because it's a very comfortable work environment. I've got a setup here for everything. I can make 8-track tapes, cassettes basically. Those are transfers. You can see specialized boxes down there, but you don't know how they work, so you know, good on me. So this here, this is great. This packing material I shall be using for sound insulation, and I'll explain what exactly I'm doing momentarily. Hello. And away we go. Down. A different set of stairs. Admittedly, there is work to be done, but this building was built in 1955. There's going to be another major renovation, at which time, believe it or not, this is going to be the front door. This. All ready to go. That goes downstairs. We're checking the mail. And they're going to be renewing the old one. I hope all they do is paint the blue a different color, because ripping out that stairwell just makes no sense to me. And here is the long passage. This is like an entirely different universe. Paintings everywhere. And of course the building noises. Laundry room. And the boiler room. Ooh. A whole lot of shaking going on. Now you realize, as you can see, right into my unit, there's my little private lawn where I'm going to grow all kinds of wild flowers. And here we go. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? The ground floor, the basement, there are only 4 units. And there's only 1 unit like this. It's a special desk. You can see a pair of wires running from it. That's because there are loudspeakers underneath. Now you notice various wires here. That's a network cable. And these wires here are various loudspeaker wires. And there I'm revealing my secrets. That's what I use for well, basically anything but high power applications. This is all you need. Those are my speakers, wires of choice. Now, over here, in this space, about here, all the way across, leaving room for the radiator. He drops out of focus. Okay, there's found focus. So the radiator is going to be left exposed, but this area up here, it's too noisy, unsuitable for a recording studio. So all of this is going to be blocked up. And this window will be left unblocked. It's a reasonably nice view. It will make a pleasant little bedroom, sitting room, comfy zone area. And of course, the office. Yeah, a lot of mid-stage organization here. All of this is going out. Going to move next door because this is going to be a bedroom. This is the nicest bedroom that I can make in here. And this, that down there is the network. And I didn't want the network to be in the studio or in the living room, so I put it in this area instead. There's also going to be a voltage supply that feeds various parts of this unit. You wouldn't appreciate the necessity, but it's for electronics work. But there will be a voltage supply, and I may locate that in here, along with possibly some other electronics, but I'll leave space for it to have some sort of closet, I guess. I don't know. Buy some shelving units, but I like the cheap look. Yeah. Oh, right, gotta take this. Remember, I need this Sony right here. Can't resist a close-up on this. That's a wiring harness. Comes in, breaks out, left, right, that's your ground. And that goes to speakers in here. And that table is going in what will be the bedroom. Oh, here we are. This here is our repair area. Just want to be able to do it. Okay, so we're in the milieu. This is completely sealed. I'm not going to use this for anything. Don't have to open it. Measures up. This won't take long. Got the icons all covered up. And as you can see, the first part of the job is complete. The second part will be preparing the acoustic treatments, and there will be a few, and then deciding how to deal with the space. Leave it with some illumination or block it off entirely. Who can say? And we're off. Now, when I have an empty trolley like this, I just grab it and walk up the stairs. Okay. Up we go. Old man walking up the stairs. Nous sommes arrivés. And we go to this door. That's reasonably quiet. Where did he go with the drunken sailor? Haven't I seen this picture before? The first part of this video is currently editing.